Hey everybody, welcome to Pierre Hidari's Bat Analysis channel, and we're going to kick off this wonderful Thanksgiving Day with let's see here. Well, I sort of earmarked this car for analysis today, but uh, my screen's not cooperating. This is what happens when you buy the cheapest Chromebook, although I do have to say that it has been a good computer. As crappy as it is. So this is a 1982 Mercedes 300D Turbo that's had hubcaps and probably light alloy wheels added from some poor 240D that some idiot ran into the ground. And it's interesting to me because I happen to own the exact same car. And this one is cool because it's got a black interior. It really surprised me to see that this thing was already pumping $7,000 in bids, but it ends in one day, so you know, I guess that makes sense, right? Based on what I can see about this car, though, it's a super clean original car. It doesn't look like the ball joints are split open. It's got its original window sticker. By the way, in 1982, this is what $31,000 bought you, the best car in the world. Now, for $32,000, you're lucky if you can get anything. Definitely not. Yeah, thankfully, there's still 300D turbos out there for sale, but if we don't take care of them, there won't be. So, a car like this, when you're looking at it and thinking about buying it, really, this should be sort of how a 300D turbo presents. The undercarriage should be extremely clean. The suspension should look relatively not disintegrated. In fact, the lower control arm bushings look okay, but I could tell based on this picture that somebody's installed cheap guide rod bushings in it. So you're gonna have to redo those within 6 months. Uh, although I like the fact that the lower control arm bushings are good, that stuff is still all going to have to come apart. So anybody who's looking at this car needs to be aware that they're going to have to spend about $600 putting new guide rod bushings in. Oh, look, the image cannot be loaded. Technology fail. But this engine does look really clean and dry, and I appreciate that about it. It's super clean and super dry, and I really love the fact that the car seems like it's never been in an accident before. Silver on black was actually a really unusual color combination in these cars. Silver on navy was the one that was frequently pushed more than silver on black was. And this looks like it's a West Coast car, and you can see that the owner of the car has multiple Mercedes. You see a 124 in the background there, and then something else under cover. I guess we'll never be sure what it is. But considering that the first aid kit is here, the trunk compartment finishes are really nice, and it has leather. That is not an MB Tex interior. That is a black leather interior. You can tell by how shiny it is, and you can see the little creases in the seats. But yeah, that is a grade A leather interior. This car may just hit the $10,000 mark. We still don't know how many miles are on it, but notice that I look at the odometers last. That's really what I'm least interested in. I'm more interested in condition, but it has 118,000 miles, meaning that it's a super, super duper nice car. Now, there is another car that I wanted to analyze today that wasn't a Mercedes, and let's see if I can find it. Here we go. Volvo 780. How many of you have heard of the Volvo 780? The 780 was Volvo's most prestigious car from the 90s, and this is a turbo, so it's got a B230F. It doesn't have the highly controversial PRV engine, which some people love, but more people had serious reliability and structural issues with. And the 780 was Bertoni's take on the Volvo 700 series. And it turned out to be a really handsome, attractive car. The seats are extremely sumptuous. They cut the roofline down. I mean, The 780 is really an incredibly beautiful car, and if you look at this engine, it's not leaking oil, and it's not disgusting, and it's not gross, and it's not covered in somebody's fingerprints. I find that really impressive. I think it's also really funny that this car was rated at 18 miles per gallon city, 21 highway when it was new. It shows just how super efficient the Mercedes diesels were for their time, and even today, still, people underestimate the efficiency of these cars. And now I want to look at some completed auctions because there's a specific car that sold recently that somebody had extremely gone to extreme lengths to destroy. And if this page only ever loads, I get really frustrated uh, dealing with computers and technology sometimes, which is why it took me so long to start this channel up, because I can never get technology to work for me, usually because technology often promises but does not deliver. It's kind of a huge lie. By the way, if you guys saw the Jeep Gladiator pickup, that was probably my favorite vehicle on here that was not a Mercedes Benz. Still having a hard time finding this colossal blunder of a Mercedes. I can't, I really. Oh, look, you know what? Forget the colossal blunder part. This is interesting. So, this car, I think, belonged to my buddy Daniel Dornbach, and it was actually a really nice car. And I could tell by the background that that is Daniel's house because I got these pictures from him. And this is a Euro Market 500 SEL, and it sold for $13,000, which is kind of impressive. And he had all the wood redone too, which is really nice. You could tell that not only is Daniel a really great mechanic, but he's also an expert photographer. And well, anyway, maybe there is some money in this Mercedes game. If there's a vehicle you want me to request, please email me at mbownersforlife@gmail.com. And in the meantime, we're going to talk about some of the some of the things that make the Mercedes market interesting next time. And uh, I guess we'll talk soon. Thanks.